Mr. Vice Chancellor, the Honorable Sri Pant, members of the various authorities of the Indira Gandhi National Open University, members of the staff, dear graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I consider it a proud moment in my life to be honored by an institution which enjoys an international status as a center of excellence in distance education. I am beholden to the members of the Academic Council, Board of Management, and the Vice Chancellor for this kind gesture. It is extremely generous on the part of the authorities to have made such liberal references in the citation to my contributions. Sir, till this minute, I have been a former Vice Chancellor, but now I become an alumnus, one of the members of the student community that has gathered in front of me. Having been a Vice Chancellor for 3 universities, sir, I realize that in this country it is infinitely more comfortable to be a student or a teacher than to be the Vice Chancellor of a university. I am happy for the transformation that has taken place in my personality this evening. Among the open universities in the world, Indira Gandhi National Open University has a uniqueness. I must emphasize that it has more dimensions than any other open university anywhere in the world. One, it is an institution that offers educational programs like other universities. Two, it is a national institution that has the mandate to coordinate and determine standards in the distance education systems in the country as a whole. And three, it is a national research center for innovation and development in distance education. It is certainly a pioneering effort, and ladies and gentlemen, we have today sitting amidst us Sri Pantji, the man who created this institution. IGNOU owes its existence and more so its uniqueness to his initiative, his leadership, and his imagination. I speak this from personal knowledge of the developments that have taken place during the creation of this university. His statement in the Parliament while moving the bill for the establishment of the university displays great foresight and clear vision. He said, I quote, "We are awakening at the dawn of a new educational order. The old system of education has become rigid and over-centralized. We are therefore in search of a system that would be capable of resilience, responsive to the changing needs of today and tomorrow. There is today an increasing stress on education for all, as also on lifelong education. The contemporary tide of education demands of us special efforts to break new grounds. The present bill is an expression of such an effort." Quotation ends. Though the Parthasarathy Committee recommended the establishment of an open university as early as 1971, it waited till 1985 for Sri Pantji to initiate its implementation. In this country, sir, between the initiation of an idea and its implementation, it always takes a much longer time, perhaps, than in any other part of the world. It is part of the achievements of our bureaucracy. Education ministers in any country come and the education ministers go, but only a few make enduring contributions. I am not flattering when I say that through Sri Pantji is one among them. Education is an organic entity. It does not remain stagnant. It changes, develops, grows, and modifies itself to suit the demands of the society. In the process of meeting the emerging demands, education has undergone 3 stages of evolution. We started with the Gurukul system, with the teacher and the disciple. Sir, the Academy of Plato and the Lyceum of Aristotle were nothing but the counterparts of the Indian Guru-Sishya system. We moved over from there to the present classroom system and lecture halls and laboratories. When it was found inadequate to meet the needs of education for all, equity in educational opportunities, and continuing education, there emerged the distance education system. All the three will coexist. Each has a function and each will play its role. Even today, many in Tamil Nadu learn Bharatanatyam under the Guru-Sishya system, Carnatic music under the Guru-Sishya system. A doctoral degree anywhere in the world, the candidate works under a guru. The distance education system itself, sir, has seen 4 generations. It started with the print material and postal system. The second generation saw multimedia using print material, radio, television, and audio-video cassettes. The third generation moved to teleconferencing. Now the fourth generation that is emerging is one that uses the internet and is called virtual university. It was around 1997 that Peter Drucker said, and I quote, 30 years from now, the big university campuses will be relics. Universities won't survive. Higher education is in deep crisis. The college won't survive as a residential institution. Today's buildings are hopelessly unsuited and totally inadequate. The quotation ends. Sir, we may or may not agree with Peter Drucker, but it shows the trend and the direction in which development takes place in education. A few virtual universities have come up, mainly in advanced countries, and a number of universities offer certain subjects through the virtual university mode. IGNOU, I am happy to say, also has made a beginning. The internet as a popular medium is less than a decade old, and what we refer to as virtual university appeared on the horizon only in the recent years. But already there are articles about the second generation of virtual universities. It only shows the unbelievable speed at which the old order changeth, yielding place to new. One must acknowledge with a sense of satisfaction and pride that IGNOU has done well so far. Within a matter of 7 years after inception, IGNOU was conferred by the Commonwealth of Learning the distinction of Center of Excellence in Distance Education in the Commonwealth countries. Perhaps the only institution in the Commonwealth to gain such recognition till today. I learned that in a national survey of universities in India, conducted by the Pioneer, IGNOU was ranked one among 9 premier institutions in the country. I have been in the field of higher education, sir, over 40 years. I do not remember any university which achieved this distinction in a matter of 15 years after its establishment. A nation must have the culture of recognizing, acknowledging, and generously acclaiming good performance. From the VC down to the junior most staff in IGNOU, everyone must be congratulated on this splendid achievement. We have today, sir, 10 open universities. They have an enrollment of about 13 lakhs of students. The correspondence course institutes of conventional universities have another 9 lakhs on their rolls. The system is already catering to a significant number, but most of them have not gone beyond the first stage of functioning, the first generation stage of distance education. The task facing the country in universalizing primary education and offering opportunities for re-education and retraining of the entire working population is really immense. The distance education system in the country has to play in the future a major role. The system has been in existence since the beginning of the 60s, when Delhi University introduced correspondence courses. We have not so far reviewed the distance education system in the country with regard to its present status, future trend, and direction of growth. When the world is fast moving towards virtual university system, which I refer to as the fourth generation of distance education, we find that most of our universities are still continuing their program in the first generation itself. It is said, sir, that you must do today's job with today's tool. If you do today's job with yesterday's tool, tomorrow you will be out of business. All over the world, the government perhaps is the only institution that can do today's job with yesterday's tool, but still be in business, whether they do business or not. But those of us who are academics will have to work on the frontiers of knowledge, and we have to be up to date. We have to make changes as and when the necessity arises. If a society is careful enough to bring about mini revolutions periodically, it will be able to avoid a major revolution. But if you stagnate and fail to bring about mini revolutions, then a major revolution will become inevitable, and such revolutions are never too welcome. And therefore, we should be prepared to see that we go in for a necessary assessment of the distance education system in the country. I do not believe, sir, in committees and commissions, but nevertheless we have to accept that without committees and commissions, many jobs could not be done. I sincerely feel, and it is my considered opinion, that a need exists today to appoint a distance education commission to go into the entire development of distance education in the last 40 years, and then suggest means and methods in order to mold and direct the further growth of development of distance education in this country, because it has a vital role to play. With this observation, I express once again my sincere thanks to the university for the honor that it has done to me, and may I assure on my behalf that it shall be my endeavor to be worthy of this recognition. Thank you very much for the opportunity.